And welcome back to the Shawn Witten Coaches Show. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. Another week of Cyclone football. Big game Friday night. And Coach Shawn Witten's here with us. It is fall break, by the way, for Elizabethton City Schools. So kind of a different way to look at things this week. We'll talk about that as far as preparation. But, Coach, last Friday night, you needed a big win against Pigeon Forge coming to town, 35-18. We'll get into the highlights here in a few minutes. But, man, what a night. I guess it started up front, got the 35-18 win, and a big night rushing the football for the Cyclones.
Well, Tom, it was a big win for us. We talked to our guys all week about how this is a must-win game for us, and we need to be really focused. Last week's game against Bristol throughout the course of the week was just trying to, be physical, be as physical as we could. This week was just more about execution, more about focus. We took a little bit of lighter load off of our guys. We had some guys kind of banged up, kind of tweaked shoulders or tweaked knees. But our guys came ready to play. They were focused. This was for the first place in the conference, and it's always great when you can control your own destiny, and when you win out, you take care of business. When we do what we're supposed to, so it's a good feeling. We got a big win. We had a lot of guys step up and make some big plays, and we're excited about it.
578 yards of total offense for this football team against a team that, again, coming in was duking it out of the top of the Mountain 8 Conference. So very satisfying win. You talk about this every week. We'll get into the highlights here in a few minutes, but you talk about it every week. It starts up front. The Hogs, and of course, they got it going, and the Turner boys did the rest, but it always starts up front. And Friday night, the Cyclone offensive line showed who was boss.
Well, we did a good job early on. We got off to a good start. Our defense got a 3-and-out. Our offense went right down the field and scored. We executed. Our guys just continue. We've been trying to keep them balanced, so we don't just stay in that passing mode where it's hard to get back in the running mode. But our offensive line continues to do a good job. We continue to spread the football around. And for the second week in a row, our Turner brothers come through and run extremely hard. They're tough to tackle. Jeremiah got this thing started already going on in the first quarter. And then Jacob came up with some big plays later on.
You look at the conditions last Friday night. Everybody knows about the weather. Of course, a lot of teams played in some less than ideal conditions. Quite frankly, some were hog pens and quagmires, whatever adjective you want to use. But hog pens, no West Virginia term, of course. But here at Citizens Bank Stadium, that was not the case, and there's the benefits of that new stadium that the folks built for the Cyclones.
Well, we were blessed, to not have any rain during the course of the game. Our surface was dry. We had practiced some wet ball conditions. Everybody does that, and trying to keep your feet. Make sure we're ready for these conditions. And all day Friday it rained the whole time, but we're fortunate. We've been blessed to have a great stadium. 3-0 in the new stadium. We've played well. And this game Friday was, a lot at stake for November. Just keep trying to build that home field advantage, and turf is amazing. I watched some Friday Night Lights highlights and saw many games. Like you mentioned, there were some terrible conditions, and we're fortunate enough we got a new stadium, and it was great to be out there Friday.
Absolutely. We'll take a break and come back, talk about the big win. Of course, watch the Turner boys highlights and get ready for a big win on the video with the Pigeon Forge Tigers. Of course, it is a travel week for Elizabethton. We go back out on the road, and again, Cyclones won 5 in a row after that opening loss to Science Hill, and now with a record of 3-0 and 5-1 in the conference. Pigeon Forge, by the way, falls to 2-1 and 4-2. Again, winners of 5 straight. We'll come back and talk about it and show the highlights as we roll on here. The Shawn Witten Coaches Show. We'll be right back after you see this.
Trucks, 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 and more trucks. At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, we have Silverado trucks everywhere with discounts up to $11,000 off MSRP on select Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. 15 Spark, $10,995. 15 Sonic, $12,995. 15 Track, $17,995. 15 Equinox, $20,995. Shop us online 24/7, and don't forget our Saturday service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where they leave you asking, how do they do that?
Whether lying on the beach, just working in your yard, or watching NASCAR racing this weekend in Bristol, your skin needs protection from the harmful effects of the sun. Blue Lizard Sunscreen delivers broad-spectrum SPF 30-plus protection that comes with smart bottle technology. Our bottle changes colors in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. It's the brand most recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Plus, it's made right here in the Tri-Cities. Blue Lizard Sunscreen. We've got you covered. And welcome back to the Shawn Witten Coaching Show. Coach will be back with us here in just a few minutes with the highlights package. We wanted to be joined, I should say, by our athletic director, Mike Wilson. And, Coach, it's an exciting fall season in Elizabethton. Obviously, the football team's won 5 in a row, and they're having a heck of a run. But you've also got some other fall sports. Let's just start with our soccer. How's the soccer going right now for Betsy?
Well, the girls' soccer team's playing right now. And they play twice this week. And they're getting ready to go into the district tournament. They'll be the 3 seed behind UH and South. And so they've had a good year, and we look forward to them doing well in the tournament. When we have volleyball is finished 3rd this year, which is a step up from last year, and they have a great chance to advance in the to the regional tournament this year. They're going to be playing in the district tournament at North this week.
You also have cross country. How are they doing?
Cross country team's doing real well. We've got some talented kids in cross country. I think we'll have a kid or two off the boys team that'll qualify for the state, and I think our entire girls team will qualify for the state and do well. Unless something unusual happens, I think we'll be at state meet on November 7th.
On to Coach Wilson, the athletic director here at Elizabethton. Also, your golf team is kind of winding down. They've had a good, successful season. Tell me about that.
Well, we had 2 kids qualify for the region, a girl and one young man. Christopher Schaff for the guys was 3rd. He shot a 72. And then Miss Montgomery, our young lady who plays basketball as well as golf, she qualified for the region. So we're proud of both those young people.
So it's an exciting time, fall sports. And, of course, the football team's won 5 in a row. And, last Friday night, obviously across the area with Hurricane Joaquin and the rains have came in, and we were obviously very much impacted by the rainy weather. A lot of places were sloppy and muddy, but not the case here with this brand-new stadium. It was a great night for football, and you didn't have that problem in Elizabeth on Friday night, did you?
No, it was nice. That's the good thing about the turf. It's there's no mud. We got, their guys didn't even have to walk through the grass or anything from their dressing room to the field and straight out on the field. It makes it a lot easier to clean things up afterwards. But it was really, I think, appreciated that stadium more this past week than ever because of the weather and the way we were able to handle that.
We've talked off camera about this. Again, we're talking with Mike Wilson, athletic director. This has been a total team effort in Elizabethton, the school board, the city, the school. A lot of folks went together to put this stadium out there, and it's a show place, and there's a lot of folks need to be thanked because it really is a top-shelf facility.
Yes, it is. And, I think we spent about $4.3 million on that, and we raised $1 million of it, and the city council was good enough to give us the rest of that money to build that stadium. We appreciate them very much, appreciate the support of the school board very much, and the private citizens, the LaPorte Family Citizens Bank, what they did for us, and all the other folks who donated. And we have that donor wall out there at the front of the stadium. You can go out and see the names of those folks who donated, but the community stepped up in a big way, and we are very grateful, and we want to take care of that place, and we want to make them proud of what goes on in there.
It is a show place, no question. It is fall break this week in Elizabethton City Schools. It doesn't stop your job, and you're still here working, and so it really doesn't stop. Games continue to play this week, and even in the fall break for the kids, athletic director is still in here, and he's still getting it done every day, right?
Yeah, we don't pay a lot of attention to break, and we don't do it at Christmas either. I mean, we're playing basketball in the winter at Christmas break, but that's just part of the job. We've got a freshman football game today with Dobbins Bennett, and we, of course, go to Claiborne County Friday for a conference game. So we have soccer tomorrow. So no, it never ends.
But that's the beauty of it too. And in closing here again, what's it mean to you for you personally to be the athletic director of this great school and a great fan base of the Cyclone Nation?
Well, it's a lot of fun and really take a lot of pride in the job. And as an athletic director, you're a servant. You serve the community, serve people, and it's a pleasure to be here. It's a privilege. I look back, when I was a kid, I went to Tennessee High and graduated in '75 and ETSU, and You know, if you'd have told me then that I'd be the athletic director in Elizabethton, I would have laughed because I had no connections in this community whatsoever back in those days. And just remember coming over here for football games, and there was a real good Italian restaurant downtown, which of course still there, and Dino's place. And then we had there used to be a place where you got great hamburgers and milkshakes. It's called Sam Q's. That's no longer there. But those are the two things. And, you know, of course, there was no 4-lane over here, so you had a little windy road through the mountain. But here I am. It's home. I'm married a girl from here, raising 3 children here, and, you know, Cyclone through and through. For an old boy from Tennessee High, wearing that orange and black's pretty tough because, you know, that was Virginia High's colors. So but life's funny. You know, you never know where you're going to end up. But I'm very happy to be here, and it's a privilege.
We're glad you're here, too. It does a great job. And I want to say this, too, before we take a break, that anytime we want to come over and do anything to promote his student athletes at Elizabethton High School, Mike Wilson says, come on, do what you need to do. We want to promote our kids any way we can. And certainly the Shawn Witten show, and we get him in here when we can, and let Coach Wilson talk when he's available to talk, because he's a very busy gentleman, obviously, being the athletic director. Then also we've come over here in the past and shot some basketball, live streamed some hoops, and maybe we continue to do that too. But point being, as we go to the break, if we want to promote Elizabeth, and this gentleman says, come on, promote our student athletes, we're all about it, and we certainly appreciate that. Coach, thank you, my friend. We'll get you back on real soon.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
Good man. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. When we come back, Shawn Witten rejoins us. Coach will take us through the highlights package of the big win Friday night as the Cyclones put a whooping on Pigeon Forge 35-18. We'll talk about that right after this as you're watching the Shawn Witten Coaches Show.
Trucks, 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 and more trucks. At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, we have Silverado trucks everywhere with discounts up to $11,000 off MSRP on select Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. 15 Spark, $10,995. 15 Sonic, $12,995. 15 Track, $17,995. 15 Equinox, $29,995. Shop us online 24/7, and don't forget our Saturday service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where they leave you asking, how do they do that?
Whether lying on the beach, just working in your yard, or watching NASCAR racing this weekend in Bristol, your skin needs protection from the harmful effects of the sun. Blue Lizard Sunscreen delivers broad-spectrum SPF 30+ protection that comes with smart bottle technology. Our bottle changes colors in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. It's the brand most recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Plus, it's made right here in the Tri-Cities. Blue Lizard Sunscreen. We've got you covered. Welcome back to the Shawn Witten Coaches Show. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. We do this every week. Brand new show comes out every Wednesday at noon. Thanks to our producer, Robert Kale. Very easy to find, TomTaylorSports.com. And, Coach, I love to watch this guy play. We're about to see some highlights of number 53. This guy, I call him the road grader, and for good reason. But let's start with his first touchdown. You're going to see 53 just obliterate one of these Pigeon Forge kids. And he really, this is me, but he really is a very, very key part of this football team, Scotty Oliver.
Well, he is. You know, Scotty's played a lot of football around here. He's one of those kids that really he can drive you crazy Monday through Thursday, but he's a gamer. He really is. I mean, when the lights come on, you know, he's a Friday night football player. I mean, we've inserted him on the defensive line the last 2 weeks. He's been a key instrumental part of that. You know, he's really kind of, you could argue he's the MVP of our football team right now, the way that he started our season off at Johnson City, the way we started running the football there. And, I mean, you're a running back. I mean, how would you love to be running behind number 53? He just does a great job. He continues to get better every week, and we're excited about the progress we made. You know, second half, we didn't attempt to throw the ball any. We were just going to run it behind him and our offensive line the rest of the game.
Running downhill, I guess, is the way you look at this guy, because you're following him. And of course, the first highlight set up with Jeremiah Turner, that little 3-yard run, but it got started again with a big block by Scotty.
Well, we got off to a good start first series. We had 2 great catches by Jalen, got us down to the inside of the red zone, and then we went to our goal line package with 2 fullbacks. Scotty leads the way, obviously, but we go 2 tight end set, 2 fullbacks. We've got a great blocks by our line, and then Scotty gets the key kick-out block, and I think he's like bowling pins from there and knocked 2 of them out of there. But great run by Jeremiah Turner to get us off 7 points right off the bat.
Let's go to the second highlight. Also, Jeremiah comes right back. Again, it's the Turner brothers. The second half, it was Jacob. But the first half, Jeremiah. And set this next one up, which was a 2-yard plunge.
Well, Jeremiah got us off, and again, they came down and answered with a field goal, and he had a big, about a 78-yard run, gets inside the red zone, and it was great to see him, finish it off at kind of the same play to the weak side, and a great block by Scotty Oliver, great block by Chris Taylor, and good to get Jeremiah in the end zone again.
14-3 at halftime. Again, the Cyclones go in with the lead. What'd you tell your kids at the break?
Well, we just, we were playing great. We're just penalties. We just, every time we got ready to put the game away, we were kind of on Achilles' heel. We just kind of beat ourselves in some situations. We had the ball 4 times in the first half. It scored twice. We left 14 points on the board. Didn't walk away with anything. At least a field goal or something. So kids were playing hard. We were executing. We just had some mental lapse that kept us out of the end zone.
So obviously, going forward again in November, you get down the line and you can't have a ball game in the playoffs, or even this week for that matter. 15 penalties, you got to clean that up, right?
Well, we do. That's the most disappointing thing. It's just continue each week. We're averaging 12 to 15 penalties a game, and the biggest thing is when you get down in there, we work so hard to get to the red zone. We at least got to come away with some points. Dylan Norby's done a good job up to this point, kicking field goals and extra points, and we be a good football team and playoff team. You got to come away with points. You can't surrender yourself and go for it. When you're down in distance in your favor. At one time we had the ball inside the 10-yard line, ended up on the 35-yard line. Just not good football. Kids weren't executing at that point. Like I said, we had some mental lapses. Our guys are playing hard. We're executing at times. We're getting off to a good start. But we got to come away with some points in the red zone.
And that they did in the second half, a 21-point second half for the Cyclones. Again, top 10 of the state, of course, this week. And the polls will come out later this week and see where they are for this week in 3A football. But Jeremiah got the short little spurts. And, of course, the big long runs came with Jacob. And set up this first one, a 47-yard run.
Well, Jacob came in. He's done a good job all year. Jacob's kind of got a little I call it a little doodad. He's got a little, as Coach Beamer used to call it back in my day. But he's got a little – something to make you miss. He's got an eye for the open field. He's got a great vision. He's got a great spin moves and balance where he's able to break. He's able to make the free safety mitts. But he's kind of our big play guy at the running back position. He catches the ball out of the backfield. He runs extremely hard, but he's got a little something to make guys miss. But it's a great execution by him. Second half, we didn't attempt to pass. We wanted just to run it, keep the game in our control, and really just kind of put the gas pedal down. But our guys did a great job. Our line did a good job. And the thing about it when we're running the football is we can go inside and out. And this one was right up the middle for 47 yards.
Let's take a look at the second highlight. Again, you're watching the Shawn Witten Coaches Show. We do this every Wednesday. Brand new show comes out at noon on Wednesdays, and very easy to find, TomTaylorSports.com. And we certainly appreciate everybody in the Cyclone Nation, and, of course, anywhere else that have tuned into the show. We're hearing more and more folks going to this website, and they're fans of Science Hill or Dobbins Bend or just high school football, and they're watching the show, and we certainly appreciate that. Coach, the second run was a 58-yarder. Set this one up.
Well, this was actually a fourth down play. We got it fourth and short. This one was off the edge. We were in a spread situation there, and Jacob went around the corner and was able to score for us. But, he's just dynamic. He's bringing something different to our running back position. That's what I like about all our guys. They bring something different to the table. And, even though the two Turner brothers ran extremely hard Friday night and then a week ago against Tennessee High, both of them are extremely different runners. Jeremiah's been around here a long time, remembers a lot of plays that we ran 2 or 3 years ago. Jacob's just got he's got a finesse to his game that I really like. And, it's just he's got an inside and outside game, and this one he's able to take it the distance. It was a big run for us, a big play in the ball game as well.
Absolutely, especially in a fourth down situation. Last touchdown of the night, again, you bring him back, and you hammer it in from 5 yards out.
Well, we wanted to just finish the night off with another good run. Jacob was running the ball well in the second half. We wanted to keep feeding him. This one was right up the middle again to close out the game and just really put a stamp on our game. And our guys played hard. Jacob ran hard. Our line continued to do well. Like you said, over 500 yards of offense. And it was a big night for us running the football.
You look at the numbers. Jacob Turner, 18 carries, 220 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jeremiah Turner, 17 carries, 165 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So the Turner brothers all told 385 yards rushing just between them. And, of course, the team as a whole, 438 yards. You talked earlier about yards after contact. Your kids get hit, but they keep on plowing and digging and scratching and clawing. So yards after contact.
Well, Tom, I can tell you that's one of the areas that we really emphasize in practice. I mean, every day we start with some ball security drills. We start with a pad leverage drill. We've got receivers breaking, breaking tackles. We really don't like one man to bring us down. We like for the fight for extra yards, taking care of the football. We've done a good job of no turnovers, but our guys do a great job. It's an emphasis for us of fighting for the extra down distance. Knowing where the chains are to get the first down, and our credit to our kids. That's a big part of our football game. We had some players early in the season. Jalen Smith, remember on the 98-yard touchdown pass, he broke 3 tackles. Drew Bowers against Daniel Boone to close out the game had 2 broken tackles to capitalize off that game, and so our guys continue to get better. And really, Pigeon Forge came in with a great running attack. They had a running back that already rushed over 1,000 yards in 5 games, and the other night we just really wanted to show that we got a good running game, and our guys stepped up in a big way. And even though it's not one guy getting a lot of the load, it's a total team effort from our bunch.
Hunter Tyree passing the ball the other night. We talk all about the rushing game of the Turner brothers, but Hunter Tyree, I guess quietly, or maybe not so quietly, 11 out of 13 for 140 yards. So another steady job by Hunter Tyree.
Well, he continues to throw well. The thing I like about him is, he's throwing high percentage balls. His completion percentage is really high, and does a good job of spreading the football around. We got off to a good start, mixing it up. Jalen had some big plays early. Came back and got Drew on some quick screens. But we're starting to come into our own a little bit. If we can just continue to knock off the penalties, I think the bar is set really high for us. And the next 4 weeks we got to continue to play at a high level. That's the biggest thing too for us, Tom, is when we've been able to make the deep playoff runs. This is the time of year now you got to start playing good football. Offensively, defensively, special teams, you got to be executing. You can't be beating yourselves and have mental lapses. And but every week, you got some things you got to work on, and you can't be perfect in every category. So, it's kind of been our Achilles heels all year long as penalties, but hopefully we can get it squared away for the next 4 weeks.
When you sit beside this man every week, you feel the passion. He loves his football team. He loves these kids, and it shows. We've talked about the offense for most of the show. Let's go back and talk about the defense. And these guys came in, a good Pigeon Forge football team, had a running back that, as you said, had already got 1,000 yards rushing on the season. You hold them to 18 yards. Defensively, who are some of the kids that stood out?
Well, it starts with our defensive line. We had a great defensive line attack last week against Tennessee High. This week, it was a total team effort on defense. Guys coming through there. We had Joseph Collins back in the lineup. Evan Sewell's another guy. Scotty Olvers. We're starting to get a good rotation of our D-line people. Alex Norwood had a good game. Cameron Coleman, Johnny Ray Woodby. We feel like we got 6 guys on that defense line at any point in time we could put in the game and feel confident with. We had a few mental lapses towards the end of the fourth quarter. We let them get some big runs and get them some points on the board. But, really, we got up to a 3-and-out start. We've been able to hold to another field goal. Our guys continue to play well. And, I think they had 24 yards in the first half. And, our guys really – defenses continue to play well. And I tell you, when you got a defense that's playing like that and being a resilient bunch, for me as a offensive play caller, you can really try to be aggressive. You can go for some situations of fourth down. You're not afraid to – take some chances and run some plays and really try to, put your team out there. So really a total team effort. I love the effort by our kids, the way we're playing, and our kids play so hard. And it's a credit to our football team and these kids on our team.
Before we go to the break, another aspect that he always talks about, it's very important in Cyclone football, is special teams. And you just go back and look this weekend across high school and college and certainly pros, how many games are decided by a missed field goal, a bad punt, a kickoff return. Always special teams plays big. Dylan Nordby, 5 for 5 point afters the other night and less than ideal conditions.
Well, he continues to be solid. Hunter Tyree does a good job of catching punts, especially out here in the new stadium on turf that ball can roll. So saving you field position there. We didn't have to punt one time Friday night against Pigeon Forge. That's always a good thing. We got a great punter in Corey Russell. And, it's great too. Your specialists, your snappers, your holders, everything was solid from that standpoint. And, you want your special teams to really be solid. You don't want block punts and, field position miscues and let the ball roll and that sort of thing. So really that's a big credit to our kids, how special you make special teams. And so it's an area we work on every day. Credit to we got a lot of different kids playing on those special teams. And so we're excited about the way our special teams has played all year.
Big win, 35-18, the final score for Pigeon Forge. We'll take a break, come back, take a look at the Mountain 8 Conference, the standings, who's playing who this week, and talk about the next opponent as you're watching the Coach Shawn Witten Show right here on TomTaylorSports.com.
Trucks, 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 and more trucks! At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, we have Silverado trucks everywhere with discounts up to $11,000 off MSRP on select Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. 15 Spark, $10,995. 15 Sonic, $12,995. 15 Track, $17,995. 15 Equinox, $29,995. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where they leave you asking, how do they do that?
Whether lying on the beach, just working in your yard, or watching NASCAR racing this weekend in Bristol, your skin needs protection from the harmful effects of the sun. Blue Lizard Sunscreen delivers broad-spectrum SPF 30-plus protection that comes with smart bottle technology. Our bottle changes colors in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. It's the brand most recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide, plus it's made right here in the Tri-Cities. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, we've got you covered. Time for the Shawn Witten Coaches Show. Thanks for being with us again. Getting ready for yet another round of Cyclone football Friday night. The Mountain 8 Conference. Take a look at it. Elizabethton and Alba Virtua beating Pigeon Forge. Sets alone atop at 3-0. Pigeon Forge, Chucky Doak, Northview, and Unicoi County all at 2-1. Johnson County at 1-2. And Claiborne, the next opponent for the Cyclones, we'll talk about in a moment. They're 0-3 along with West Green 0-3. This Friday night, another big week here in the Mountain 8 Conference. Pigeon Forge will be in Irvin, battle Unicoi County. Johnson County will be playing at West Green. It could be the interesting game of the week. Chucky Doak at Northview, both 2-1 football teams. Coach, of course, the Cyclones take to the highway. Long trip to head down and play Claiborne. And what's the scouting report on this football team? It's 0-3 and 2-4 overall.
Well, it's the same like Pigeon Forge. It's a team we've never played before. We're going to a place we've never been. And, I think when you get these games like this, you don't really know a whole lot about it. New coach this year for Claiborne. So, it's really a chance for us to kind of self-scout ourselves and see the areas we got to improve on and, really get, during the course of this week, go against our defense and our defense go against our offense, kind of best against best, and really work on some areas that we got to improve on down the road. So, we're trying to approach this game as kind of like a playoff type game. If we have to get on the bus and have to travel and go kind of a business type approach, but it's a fun week. Anytime that we got some time here this week where we're out of school, so we'll kind of slow things down some and kind of work on some areas that we need to improve that help us down in the playoffs, some special situations that may come up in a ball game and that you practice all the way throughout the course of the year that may never end up using or never end up having to work on to come to play. So there's a lot of things we got to get better at this week, but Claiborne's a challenging football team. They the last couple of years they've been a 4A football team. They've played Greenville. So they, I'm sure that those being in Greenville's league, and taking on them the last couple of years is going to be no different than taking on us.
Routines and rhythms. Of course, you're out of both of those this week of fall break. Is that good? Does that hurt your football team a little bit just because things are different? I know you're practicing earlier and letting the kids have the afternoons off. And is that good or bad?
Well, I think as a coach, you like things to stay the same. I mean, change is not a good thing in a coach's life. You don't change up anything as long as things are going really good. And that I tell my kids all the time. I mean, don't change up your pregame routine. Don't change up what you've done during the course of the week. I mean, you got to make things stay the same. But our guys will approach it well. I mean, we're practicing in the morning 3 days this week to really try to spend some extra time, slow some things down, really get their focus, and then kind of give them the afternoon to really rest up and get ready to go. It's going to be an hour and 46-minute bus ride for us, so that's another challenging aspect there. But every week there's a challenge, and anytime you're out of school, out of your normal routine, things are different, and so we're glad we got it this week on the road. We're glad we're not at home this week and we're being out of school. So hopefully we can get enough Cyclone fans to travel with us Friday night. But it's anytime. It's a conference football game. It's a business-like approach, attitude, and we definitely need to come out with a big win.
See you next week.
Yes, sir.
He's the man. Again, the Cyclones travel this week. Again, we'll come back with a brand new show next week. This show's out on Wednesday, every Wednesday at noon. Thanks to our producer, Robert Kell, does a superb job. And, of course, Coach Witten. And I want to say thank you again for watching the show. And, again, we're finding out more and more non-Cyclone fans, just like high school football, like this man here, what he does in Elizabethton. So we certainly appreciate you watching the show. Every show comes out, a new one every Wednesday at noon. Easy to find, TomTaylorSports.com. For Coach Shawn Witten and also Robert Kell, I'm your host, Tom Taylor. Again, we'll see you next week. And as always, we'll tell you, win or lose, be a good sport. So long.